What's up, weirdo? Shade Tree Surgeon here with 100% the rarest motorcycle that has ever been on the channel. Without a doubt, the Honda Rune is what dreams are made of. The last gasp of Honda back when Honda was still cool and still did cool things. Everything about this bike is wild. It's not often that I'm at a loss for words, but it's kind of happening right now. This is a motorcycle that when it came out in magazines, nobody knew what to think of it. One of those motorcycles, like you always hear me say, that splits people right down the middle. You either love it or you hate it. And when something's that divisive, I usually fall into the love category. Just like the Valkyrie that we tested recently, you might think, if you don't know about the Honda Rune project, you might think that this is just a naked gold wing. Maybe just a Valkyrie with some extra chrome in it. That could not be further from the truth. The Honda Rune was Honda's best attempt at acting like Ferrari, and the Rune is something that Honda used to do back in the day all the time, making super specialized bikes for its biggest fans. If you've ever wondered why people are such huge fans of Honda, it's bikes like this that make it that way. There's a few bikes scattered throughout Honda's history that they only made for a couple years, that their R&D development far outweighed any money that was ever made from them. And that's why Honda is such a cool company, or at least they used to be, because they made bikes just to show off, and every single thing about the Rune is on it just to show off. You look at it and you say, why would they do that? And the engineers said, why not? Everything from the Springer-esque front end with the wheel behind the pivot point to the exhaust, everything on this bike is a one-off. It doesn't share almost any single part with a gold wing, besides, I'm sure, just a few engine components. And what's even wilder about this bike is it just showed up as a trade-in at Bert's Barracuda. You guys see me do videos here all the time, and I'm always blown away by what they take in on trade. And the fact that they just took a Rune in on trade, that someone just dropped this bike off here, blows my mind. Seeing it sitting out here with a for sale sticker on it, it's like seeing a Monet or a Picasso out here with a for sale sign on it. I know that might sound cringy, I know I sound ridiculous, but when it comes to rare works of art in the motorcycle world, the Rune occupies one of those spots. Like I said, you either know or you don't, and if you do know, you know how special this bike is, you know how rare it is. I can't even imagine what the dude must have been like who traded it in. I can only imagine that his collection is pretty extensive if he's willing just to trade in a Honda Rune on a new Harley. There are certainly some bikes out there that I thought I would never throw a leg over. Maybe that list got shorter as I got older and I realized that they were a little more accessible than I thought. But one that I really never thought I'd get to ride is a Honda Rune. And here we are, baby. This is what dreams are made of. That exhaust is killer. Without a doubt, the rarest motorcycle I've ever put my ass on. Holy mackerel, I can't believe I'm riding a Rune right now. Honda's Golden Fleece. Proof that Honda can still do cool things. The Rune is just on another level. Everything about it. There's not one single part of this bike that's untouched. Not one part of it that's not a one-off. Well, I guess not a one-off, but a couple thousand off anyway. I gotta imagine getting replacement parts, probably pretty tough, but if you've got Rune money, then you're probably not that worried about it. How long the nose is with the tire back here, I feel, dude, the front headlight is gotta be, from me, the front headlight has to be like 4 feet away. That is wild. You would look at this thing and you think it would just be a freaking tub of lard. Like, you think it wouldn't handle, you think it would feel so heavy with that big rear tire, the crazy front end, but it just feels as light as a sport bike. Maybe not exactly as light as a sport bike, but I'm telling you right now, this does not feel like a gold wing at all. Again, not often that I'm at a loss for words, but I almost don't even know what to say now. It's like riding a piece of history. I cannot gush about this motorcycle enough. The Rune is legendary weapon status. The way that exhaust opens up too, like totally reserved, and just sounds like it's gonna putt like a normal GL 1800 engine at idle, and then you open it up and it just sounds like a monster, dude. If you're new here, you won't know that I am a big wang daddy, dude. I love my gold wings, and my niece Shaylesia, who has her own YouTube channel, actually has a 1800 Valkyrie. Well, it's a F6B, but it's pretty much a stripped down gold wing, and I have a lot of experience on that bike. I put a lot of miles on it. It doesn't feel anything like this. I cannot stress to you enough how, A, how lucky I am, and B, how, unless you put an ass on it, Woo! Oh, baby, that thing moves. All right. Oh, wow, dude. That doesn't feel like the F6B or GL 1800 at all. That hauls so much more ass. I have no idea what all the differences in the motor are, but I gotta imagine they're probably as extensive as all the differences on the outside. To me, this is an example of what Japan can do with a heritage engine. I've really always lament the fact that Japan, for the most part, abandoned V4s, which I thought was their heritage engine configuration, because Japan was, as a motorcycle producer in their early days, was just copying everyone else. They were really just trying to copy Triumph, and they were doing their own thing with the V4s, and of course Honda with the flat 6, and then they just kind of fell into copying Harley in the 90s, and all their V4s died out. But Honda, it never got rid of the flat 6, man. The only flat engine configuration outside of a BMW Boxer engine, and golly, man, it just does everything correct. It does everything right. And it's such an amazing example of a contraption of this gigantic, strange, chromed out engine sitting underneath you. This is what motorcycles are about. Reject gizmos, embrace contraptions. Motorcycles should be weird and shiny and cool, and they don't have to make sense. And this is everything weird, everything strange, the most bizarre engine configuration ever put in a motorcycle, in my opinion, and it just works anyway. The front end is so far away from me. The wheel is behind the pivot point. Everything about this motorcycle is bizarre, but then it just rips and handles anyway. That is what motorcycles are all about. Just being weird as hell, being cool as hell, and working anyway. If I wanted a vehicle that made sense, I'd drive a car. This motorcycle, the Honda Rune, just embodies everything that I love about motorcycles. The weirdness, the flashiness, the showing off, the impracticality, everything about it. This motorcycle is an avatar for how I feel about bikes, and I like bike, baby. Dude, this thing is no freaking joke. I can't believe how well it handles. This thing is on rails, man. This bike, you have to ride it to believe it, because looking at it, you would never think that this thing handles like this. You wouldn't think it accelerates like this, handles like this. Maybe you think it's just like a straight line monster or something like that, but it's not. Everything about this bike is special, man. It just works. Dude, this is the worst review ever right now. Bro. Yeah, I asked the price. I was afraid to, and they're like, yeah, the price is make an offer. How do you put a price on a motorcycle like this? Dude. This is legendary status. This is the named weapon, man. This is the final ultimate weapon when it comes to motorcycles. The weirdest of the weird. Honda at its absolute finest, man. I love it when Honda gets weird, when they don't put their engineers on a leash. I love it when they make something like this, and I wish they would still do it. Like, what a shining example of a motorcycle manufacturer just letting its employees go wild and say, you know what? They keep them in boxes and they make them make stuff that's safe, stuff that makes sense, stuff that they know is going to sell. Yeah, we know we can sell this beginner bike and we can sell this touring bike, and just playing it safe and doing market research and all the boring stuff that has everything to do with a motorcycle company but nothing to do with the passion of motorcycles. And then they let them make something like this. All that pent-up aggression, rage, and anger, all of that angst that gets held in by not being able to create what they want, they let it all out, and this is what they produce, the Honda Rune. Truly, this motorcycle is Athena springing from the mind of Zeus. It almost breaks my heart. It really does. My heart is breaking that I can't just take this motorcycle home. I know I can't afford it. You know, I'm not even gonna make an offer, because whatever the offer is, I guarantee you, it's more than I got to offer. Now, if I was a little bit slimier, I might have walked in here and been like, oh, that bike's not worth anything, because they didn't really know what they had when I walked in here. My man Ryber called me up and says, hey, we got a really weird looking Honda in. And then he told me what it was, and let me tell you, the temptation was real. The temptation reason to just sit there and go, oh yeah, that bike? No, those aren't worth a thing. The Honda Rune? No. But my man Bert and all the guys and gals here at Bert's Barracuda and Bert's Black Widow, they're pretty good to me, and I like to be able to sleep at night. And I have enough trouble sleeping at night as it is. I don't need to add to that, so I couldn't in good conscience do that. And yeah, it went from, yeah, we're just gonna try to unload this thing to make an offer real quick because, like I said, how do you put a price tag on this motorcycle? I mean, if we have somebody very wealthy out there who wants to buy it and have a motorcycle in Florida, I'll take really, really good care of it. You can ride it whenever you come down, and I'll only bounce it off the rev limiter a couple times a week. Okay, maybe more than a couple times a week. I almost feel bad riding it. Like, I usually don't feel guilty about that. I'm definitely in the camp of ride them, don't hide them, but this motorcycle is so special and so rare and such the ultimate expression of two-wheeled engineering, the avatar for all engineers, that I feel almost a little bad putting miles on it. But you know what? Not that bad. At least not bad enough to not ride it. Get my last rip in before I park this thing because I know it ain't gonna last long. Someone's gonna buy this bike. I can't explain to you. I can't explain it. Just, it doesn't even make sense. You look at the motorcycle and then riding the motorcycle, it just blows your mind because the way it brakes, the way it handles, the way it accelerates is so at odds with this just wild Art Deco looking showpiece in front of you. It looks like, cause any like custom motorcycles, like choppers and stuff like that, all these weird custom bikes, they handle like crap. They're not really fun to ride. This thing looks absolutely wackadoodle insane, and it rides like the most advanced bike you've ever been on, man. It just rides like a sport bike. It's crazy. One of those bikes that you'd expect concessions to be made for the styling, and none were made. Zero concessions. No punches pulled. Everything about this bike, everything about it, man, is just perfect. Oh, I don't want to park it, dude. I can't tell you how badly I don't want to park this bike. I have to. God damn it. Everything in my tiny little magpie brain is screaming at me to not leave this motorcycle behind. Can't tell you, the hoarder in me is crying big fat tears right now. I don't know who's gonna end up with this motorcycle, but whoever does, I don't say I'm jealous of very many people, but I will be very jealous of you. On the off chance that someone hasn't snatched it up yet, you can go ahead and give Bert's Barracuda a call. Ask for my man Black Silk. He's the one who takes care of all the guys from Shade Tree Army. And if someone from the Army buys it, I almost don't want to know who has it because I'll just be green with envy and staring daggers at you every time I see you. But just let me know if you buy it and if you ever plan to sell it after you buy it, because I'd like to have a crack at it if my fortunes ever change. Well, yeah, no Honda Rune for me. And it's back to the Bangkok bagger, the incredible bulk, the green gold wing of love. And you know what? I still feel pretty lucky to have this bike. A ton of Tupperware, a single working carburetor, and rust on every part of it that's metal. I don't care, baby. It's mine, and I love this motorcycle. Oh, I love my bike, but God, it's hard to leave that thing behind. You see, I wouldn't want to trade it in, dude. The Bangkok bagger, it is also priceless, to me at least. The amount of joy that I've gotten out of this motorcycle for its $1,500 purchase price is immeasurable. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I'm just kidding. I would definitely trade it for the Honda Rune. Yeah, absolutely. I'd trade the Bangkok bagger for the Rune, but you know what? I can't, and I can't own the Rune, and that's okay, man. I'm okay with it. I love this motorcycle, and I have just as much fun on this bike as I would on the Rune. At the end of the day, I really don't need a new motorcycle. I'm pretty happy with this thing. I am a magpie. I do love to possess things. I have a jealous, covetous, mean-spirited, tiny little heart. I desire, I yearn even. And even though God left me with a missing puzzle piece that no amount of women, alcohol, drugs, or possessions can ever fill, you know what? I am pretty happy with what I have, even though I always want more. Such is the duality of Shade Tree Surgeon. And speaking of cool bikes, I got Joe the Mountain Jedi behind me on the Bastard Glide, and we're heading back to the fort. And we're heading back to the fort because we're filming another episode of Randwin Parked. We're actually premiering an episode tonight, filming another episode today, and I'm really excited to see that Eliminator back on the road. This whole series of Randwin Parked with Joe the Mountain Jedi has really been a lot of fun, man. It's kind of pushed me outside of of the videos I normally make, even though I do dick around a lot working on bikes on the channel. I've always done that. But doing it in this fashion with an expert actually doing the work, Joe being the expert back there, and not me just bumbling around like an idiot, and kind of like focusing more on making an actual show has been really rewarding. Now, I wouldn't call what we're doing professional. I mean, the work is professional that Joe is doing on the bike, but you know, my production skills I would not call professional, but it's still the most professional thing I've ever done. The feedback from y'all has been nothing short of amazing. Everyone loves Joe as the host. They like the concept of the show. And even though I'm going to continue making my haphazard, you know, 10 videos in one vlogs all the time, I'm also going to continue trying to make Rune Parked a more better show. I just don't take myself seriously enough to ever really make like a real show, but it's been fun trying with Joe. And it really, since I'm freed up to just be in charge of the camera and the editing, and Joe is doing the majority of the talking and all of the work pretty much on the bike, it really lets me kind of shape how the thing goes. And I get why a lot of people out there end up hiring camera people, because it makes the things a whole hell of a lot easier. Unfortunately for me, the only camera guy I can afford to pay is me, and I don't get paid at all. Unless someone else is out there willing to just show up and be at my beck and call and work for free, I'm never gonna have a camera guy for my Shade Tree Surgeon episode, but I can do my best job pretending to be a camera guy for Rune Park with Joe. All right. I know we're really supposed to be done with the CBX 1000, the 6-cylinder Honda, the unicorn, the gentleman's weapon. I know we're supposed to be done with it. I keep saying somebody won it, Tip Cat won it, but I really do get one more time on it because I gotta ride it over to him, don't I? I mean, come on, you want a raffle bike from Supporting Forgotten Angels off a $25 ticket, and you think Shade Tree Surgeon ain't gonna personally deliver it, bouncing off the rev limiter? I'm just kidding, I'll be nice. I mean, come on, he's taking it all the way back to Tennessee. I gotta put a little test on it before I hand it off, right? Right. I'm glad we're in agreement on that. The quality control. Slap a Shade Tree Surgeon sticker on it. It's ready to go cross country, baby. Oh my God, Tip Cat, I haven't even met you yet, and I already kind of hate you for taking this away from me. God damn, this bike is good. Feels especially good because I've been up since 5 o'clock in the morning yesterday, started my day in Portland, spent about 12 hours packing carts at the DAB factory for Sessions and Brapstar, jumped on an airplane at 12:30 a.m. and now I'm here. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm feeling just a little bit loopy. Nothing like a little motorcycle ride to clear your head or make you even loopier so you don't even care. All right, let's get this thing over to Forgotten Angels. Tip Cat is waiting on me. Welcome home. We sure give away a lot of cool bikes. We bring a lot of people down to Florida as winners, but there's a reason we're doing it. Sounds so cliche to say that everybody's a winner, but everybody's a winner. What's up, man? You're a winner, baby. Don't even wait on me, man. Take it around the block. So it's a little cold-blooded. When you're starting off from a stop, it's going to want more gas than you think. The brakes are 40 years old. That's just the way it is. Relegated to the FJR. That's all right, though. The FJR is still pretty badass. My man Tip Cat on his CBX, that bike cuts a figure. I've never actually ridden behind it. I guess if you don't know a lot about bikes, you might just think it's a CB750 with bags or something, but if you know what the bikes are supposed to look like, you can definitely tell that ain't what it is. My man Tip Cat rolls it old school, baby. He's going all the way back to Tennessee, and all he brought for a lid is the Johnny Knoxville Special. OS, baby! My man! I love it, dude. What's that?
Man, this bike is awesome.
It's fucking awesome, man. Who wins the motorcycle? You.
Motorcycle.
Karma has pointed her finger at you and said, today's your day, man. Like a kid on Christmas. I thought he was 50. He turns out he's 60. He's never won anything in his life. It might be another 60 years before you do it again.
Oh, no.
We're sitting here and talking to you. I know you bought the ticket without the expectation of winning anything, and just donating here to Forgotten Angels and putting your hard-earned money and wanting to do something better with it and trusting Dave and Cindy to be the caretakers of doing the right thing. But every once in a while, you do win a cool bike. Every once in a while.
Cool bike.
Very cool, man. Make sure you follow TipCat on Instagram. I'll have a link down below because we're going to want to see you document the journeys on this bike.
No question.
That's so cool, man. I love it. Anyway, we brought here telling tall tales and stories that aren't fit for YouTube, and we're going to go ahead and get back to that. The CBX is gone. It's gone from my life, gone from my heart. No more shall I hear those screaming six cylinders sing. Truly a sad day for Shade Tree Surgeon's greedy, jealous little heart. Now missing the unicorn bike. However shall I console myself? If only there was something here that I could console myself with. Yeah, this ought to do it. Oh, yeah, that'll do nicely. Boy, this thing rips. And there is nothing that sounds like a big inch Evo. Gotta make sure to spend some QT with this bad boy FXR because it's only mine for another week. Today is Saturday. You're gonna be seeing this video on Sunday, and come this Friday, someone's winning this motorcycle, this 113 cubic inch S&S FXR bad boy. Somebody's going home with it, and I wish I could just keep it forever, but I can't keep them all. And not just this bike, of course. Somebody's also winning David's Milwaukee 8 Ultra Limited, the touring bike. You can get the long distance hauler or the backstreet brawler, baby. It'd be real hard for me to kick this FXR out of bed. I'm pretty sure this is what I would pick if that wasn't already apparent. Thing does have nitrous. It's got twin foggers drilled into each intake, but I don't know why you'd need it. It hauls plenty of ass without it. This thing would be absolutely terrifying with the nitrous engaged. I don't know. Leave down in the comments below. Would you be hitting that button on the reg, or is 113 S&S good enough for you? Boy, this thing is no joke. You know, I keep saying the FXR will come with a two-way ticket instead of a one-way ticket because when we do these giveaways, you know, part of it is that you get to come down here and party with us for a weekend. Come down, hang out, go fishing, come on vacation, leave on probation, baby. That's how we do it around here. And come down to Florida, spend the weekend ripping ass around on this FXR, or if you happen to choose the Milwaukee 8 Ultra Limited, whichever one tickles your fancy just the right way. And I was saying, like, hey, we'll fly you back home. Of course, we'll fly you back home for anyone. You don't have to ride the motorcycle home. We can deliver it. But I kept saying, like, yeah, we'll fly you back home on the FXR. You don't have to ride this thing home. But you know what, man? I've ridden less comfortable bikes further distances. Like, it's an FXR still. You could make it home just fine on this. You're just going to be kicking it old school hobo style with a backpack. Don't want to put luggage on this thing, but if you're down with just a duffel bag behind your back, yeah, baby, you can ride this thing home too. Yeah, you get home with a quickness on this thing. This motorcycle is a neck breaker. All right, I consider myself officially consoled. I no longer miss the CBX 1000. I am a very happy camper on top of this motorcycle right now. But all loves must end, as someone is going to take this home too. But I'm still gonna spend this week riding it around. And hey, baby, it's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. And let me tell you something about Shade Tree Surgeon, baby. And I fall in love about 6 or 7 times before I even get out of bed in the morning. My heart runs around like a chicken with its head cut off all over Instagram, falling in and out of love, visiting all my favorite butts on the gram and saying howdy. That's all right though, I ain't worried. A little birdie told me that all dogs go to heaven. Well, fingers crossed on that one anyway, because I'm still currently trying to get my karma into the black. We are good-hearted villains and dangerous women. We might laugh a little bit too loud, we might drink a little too much, we might party a little too hard, but but we know that we're changing the world and we are bad people doing good things, and someone's gonna get to be real bad on this bike. Well, even though I am unabashedly biased with what I would choose, it being the bad boy FXR, I would be remiss if we didn't spend a little bit of time on David's Ultra Limited as well. The backstreet brawler and the long distance hauler. I think it's a pretty good matchup. Even though they're both Harley-Davidsons, they're so different. You know what you want. You want to go far or you want to go fast. Now, of course, with these Milwaukee 8s, you can go fast too if you really want to. I think for most people out there, the decision will be made by what they already own. Like if you already have a bike and you already have like a bar hopper or a chopper or something that you ride around town and you want a touring bike, like you'd probably pick the Ultra Limited. And for people who already have one of these, who already have a bagger, they're gonna be like, you know what? I can see myself bopping around town on that FXR. I mean, this thing moves though. Yeah, 107s, man, that stage 1 on a 107 really wakes them up. And even though the odds in this raffle are better than most we've done, I think right now only about 500 people have entered, or I think it was like 550 or something like that. And of course, there's 2 chances to win this time. You know, even though all of that's going on, may the odds ever be in your favor. It's not about that. It's not about winning a bike. It's not about the odds. It's not about the awesome adventure you would have if you came down to the Wang to party with us. It's about doing good things, man. And as I've said before, we might be bad people, but we try our best to do good things every once in a while, getting to the black on karma, you know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Odin's, baby. Everyone's saying new gloves. I've had these Odin gloves for like 4 freaking years. Quick pit stop at the unhappiest place on earth. And let's go back to the happiest place on earth. Ain't that the truth, though? I think my worst mile on a motorcycle is still better than any other mile I've spent in anything else. Although, a particularly very nice couple of miles I spent with one very cute Juanita back in high school and my old flare side F-150 do come to mind. But we'll just go ahead and tie that with being on a motorcycle, all right? There just ain't nothing wrong with this bike at all, man. It's just so weird to be giving away something that's brand new like this. Normally, that's not what we do. Now, that's excluding, of course, the charity giveaways that we do with Bert's Barracuda. Those ones are usually new, but usually when it's me doing it, it's not something, well, I guess it's not me, it's David. David Tyler donated this motorcycle. That's why it's new. It's not some old weird motorcycle that I picked out that makes me very excited. It moves, dude. I just something about being on a big bike like this with all this luggage and the fairing that just makes me want to hit the road, baby. Full disclosure, I get that feeling on pretty much any motorcycle, but especially on a big old deluxe touring bike like this. Anyway, the reason for the season, baby, the reason that we're doing this. You guys out there are amazing. The good things that we're doing in this world are, well, not that we're doing, I guess it's the royal we. Really just count on David and Cindy and everyone who comes around to help out around Forgotten Angels to be the caretakers of our support and make sure that it goes out and it does a good thing. If you had told me 10 years ago I would know as many amazing people who are willing to help somebody who has less than them as I do now, I would have just been like, that's ridiculous. I'm not saying I wouldn't have known any. I've had some really amazing people in my life. I just wouldn't have ever expected it to be this many. And I'm telling you, like, the amount of people that we have who help out, like, it's just us. It's just this channel. It's just, and everyone else's channel, you know, Rolling with T-Bone, Rainy Rider, my man Buck, of course, Buck, who likes to truck. Buck, of course, is always helping out, and he's got some big stuff planned for Forgotten Angels. Anyway, it's not just me, it's all of us, but I'm saying that's it. It's never gone outside of us. We've never gotten like a news article or had some video go viral or blow up or anything like that. You know, the most we've ever gotten on a video talking about Forgotten Angels is like 40, 50,000 views. It's just us. And this is the good that we're able to do in the world by focusing what we're doing and trusting a couple of really good people like David and Cindy to be the caretakers of our goodwill and hopefully put in a good word for us with the man upstairs. Trust me, I've partied with a lot of you guys at the camp out. We all need it. None more so than myself. So big ups to all y'all. Give yourself a pat on the back. Sacrificing something out of your own life and being able to give to somebody else who has much less than you is truly a noble thing, and you you should feel good about it. And if all you're able to do is tell somebody about Forgotten Angels, there's a lot of people out there who are in very tough situations. And I don't want you to ever feel bad if you can't donate money. Don't ever feel like if you come to the camp out or I see you and you don't have the means or the funds to donate to Forgotten Angels or buy a raffle ticket or do anything like that, you don't get put in a different bracket. Now, I know this probably sucks for all the people who have donated tons of money and time and things and all that, but I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. I don't put you in a different bracket. If you've told one single person about the mission, about Forgotten Angels, about what they're trying to do to change this world, about what they're trying to do to fight homelessness in America, if you've told one single person about that, then you have done so much more for these young men and women and people who are living on the street than almost anybody else. I promise you that. And I will give you a hug, shake your hand, and drink beers with you because you're my brother, you're my sister, and hey, baby, you're anything in between. I don't care. As long as you got a cold beer in your hand and an extra one for old Uncle Shade Tree, I think we can find something to get along about. So don't feel bad if you cannot afford to donate. And if you have to stretch yourself to donate, if it's going to hurt you to donate, then do not. Even if you have the money, but you're cutting it short, if it's your only $25, your only extra $25, do not buy a raffle ticket. Do not. You heard me right. Do not do it. This is if you have extra to spare to help somebody who has less than you, to help somebody who's in hard times. It's not to put yourself in hard times to help somebody who has hard times. Now there's two people who have hard times. Don't do it. And that goes for anything I ever tell you guys about. I don't want anyone to ever feel like they have to do anything I say that costs money. I don't care if it's charity. I don't care if I'm asking you to buy a Brapstar t-shirt. I don't care what I'm telling you about. Never feel that obligation. Please, that would murder me. I would feel so horrible if every time I said something you felt an urge or felt compelled like you have to. If you want to and it's within your means, please do, but do not feel compelled. The videos are free and they always will be. There ain't no entrance fee for Brapstar. Now I will say that liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, all of those things are free, so I don't care how down on your luck you are, you can do that. I've already said thanks to all you guys who've helped make the world a better place by helping out Forgotten Angels, helping somebody who has less than you, but I want to end this video by saying thank you to somebody else. It's Memorial Day weekend, and while I might be one ungrateful bastard, I make ungratefulness into a sport. I gotta stop and say thanks to everybody who served. While America certainly isn't a perfect place, it is free, and we're doing our best here with David and Cindy and Forgotten Angels and all of you guys' support to make the America that we live in a better place. But we are free to do so, free to succeed, free to fail, free to do whatever we want because of sacrifices that other people have made, and people in my life too. My grandfather raised me like I was his son after he had already got done raising a son. My uncle was there for me like a father. They were both veterans. Robert O'Neill, my grandfather, was a Marine in World War II, and he served in the occupation of Japan. He was in Hiroshima after the bombs dropped. Some of the first boots on the ground, first American boots on the ground. I can't imagine the horrors that he had to experience and go through to make sure that I get to enjoy my freedom right now. I'm damn sure it was a sight worse than donating 25 bucks for a raffle ticket to win a motorcycle. My uncle Charles O'Neill, which feels weird to say because he'll always be Uncle Chuck to me, also a very important man in my life, was a combat medic in Vietnam who served, I think, 3 consecutive tours voluntarily. If anyone out there knows anything what it was like to be a drop-in helicopter combat medic in Vietnam, and I certainly can't imagine the hell that he went through and the fortitude he had to have to know that he wanted to go back to save his brothers who were out there dying still as a medic. One of my best friends in high school, somebody that I've been hunting with, four-wheeling, off-roading, riding dirt bikes, ATVs, four-wheelers, and everything in between. And Sergeant Joseph First, who, again, feels weird to say that because he was always Little Joe to me and everybody else who knew him. And Joseph First passed away serving his country in Afghanistan during Operation Enduring Freedom. He was a good man. He left behind a wife, a father, a mother, a brother, and countless friends. More friends than you can imagine. Joe was very, very well loved. So that's going to about do it for this video. I'm just ending it there. Thank you to everybody who served. And if you have somebody that you would like to mention down in the comments, I will make sure that I say their name out loud. If you want to leave a member of your family, a friend, or anybody else who has served this country in the name of freedom, and of course those who have given everything for that ideal. Thank you.